A very wonderful morning to you out there. You are welcome to your wonderful program, Newspaper Review, on Alore Radio, transmitting from GSM Studio at the Ministry of Information, Culture and Tourism, Secretariat Agodi, Ibadan. My name is Olukemi Omotosho. I have with me the Nigerian Tribune. And the first story I'm going to read says, Malami kicks as suspect says he works for him. I am a consultant of AGF. Prime suspects allege. That can be found on page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune. Also, Afenifere demands substantial restructuring before 2023 polls. Andy Uba rejects Anambra election outcome. INEC to present certificate of return to Soludo today. That can be found on page 28. Also, we have concerned APC stakeholders demand dissolution of Bumi Caretakers Committee, says interim administration leading party to extension. That is on page 10 of the Nigerian Tribune. FG to set up security force to man porous borders. Page 26. And military deploy troops, helicopter to patrol Abuja Kaduna Railway Line, DHQ, page 27 of the Nigerian Tribune. The Percy orders take Atiku's presidential ambition to Ibadan, meets Ladoja, page 28. Gas remains top priority, transition fuel for Nigeria, Buhari, that is on page 6 of the Nigerian Tribune. Why I spearheaded campaign for direct primaries by Jabi Amila, that is on page 10 of the Nigerian Tribune. And prison breaks, 3,906 inmates still at large, minister, page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune. And we have this one saying, South Africa's ex-president F.W. de Klerk dies at 85. Paris Club consultants, they want to take advantage of Buhari's generosity to fleece Nigeria. Fire me. And I have with me another story that says, military deploys troops, helicopters to patrol Abuja Kaduna Railway Line. Super TV CEO's murder case. Witness narrates how victim's body was found, and that can be found on page 27 of the Nigerian Tribune. Also on page 4, I have this one that says Justice Odili's house invasion. Malami kicks as suspect says he works for him. NAS to benefit $62.1 million from $16.2 billion loan. That is found on page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune. And I have another one that says federal government plans to sell 150 billion naira worth of bond for November 2021, and CBN apps on employment-led growth productivity. That can be found on page 7 of the Nigerian Tribune. Also, Ibadan Inland Dry Port will be delivered within 2 years. Shippers cancels bus. That is on page 6 of today's Tribune. And Nigeria not only negotiable but dying. Adebanjo. We don't know why Baba Adebanjo is saying that. Well, you can turn to page 8 of the Nigerian Tribune for the details. But Jabi Amila advocates common passport, market and others for full African negotiation. Page 11 of the Nigerian Tribune of today, 12th November 2021. And on page 12 of the Nigerian Tribune, I have Ogun 6 community leaders support for health insurance scheme. And NDE charges youth on skill acquisition. Another one on page 13 says Obasanjo orders for Unifenga's Maiden Agric exhibition. And on page 14 it says royal approval for holding Quran competition for Queen Samal Award. We are going for a short break to return for the details of the newspaper.
ọgbà tí àṣejìná lòdì ìrànjẹ làwọn aláṣejòkòtì tí wọ́n fẹ́ máa jẹ ọba ni wọ́n ṣe gàyà díẹ̀ ná ìlú ló láṣẹ ẹjẹ́ ìlú ó jẹun náà ìdí nìyí tó fi jẹ́ pé ẹ̀tọ́ ìlú là ń fowó ìlú ṣe nípìnlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ẹ̀rí bí ní ètò ẹ̀kọ́ wa ṣe ń jògèrè LAUTECH ti tìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ilé ìwòsàn alábọ́dé bíi 40 ló ti wẹ̀wọ̀ ọ̀tún pẹ̀lú àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ tòun tòògùn àti irinṣẹ́ tó pójú owó iṣẹ́ sì ti fẹ́ẹ̀ parí pẹ̀lú lórí 100 míì jákèjádò ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ààbò tó dájú ohun amáyédẹrùn ní ìṣokùnfà ìdásílẹ̀ iléeṣẹ́ ńláńlá láwùjọ òun náà nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ fi wà nípò kẹta nínú àwọn ìpínlẹ̀ tí ń pawó wọlé jùlọ lábẹ́lé nílẹ̀ wa ọ̀pọ̀ ọ̀dọ́ ló ti láǹfààní ẹ̀kọ́ṣẹ́ iṣẹ́ àgbẹ̀ lọ́nà ti gbàlódé táṣeyọrí yóò sì jẹ́ kó ń jẹ́ sùn wá bọ̀ láìpẹ́ nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ àtòṣìṣẹ́ fẹ̀yìntì ń gbowó wọn lásìkò pápá àṣírí Adámàsìngbà àtàwọn inú ojú pópó tí ń sòrú dọ̀sán ńkọ́ àwọn ìlú ti sọ pásì ìwádùn níṣèjọba yìí fi ń mọ rírì gbogbo àwọn aláṣẹ gómìnà Ṣèyí Mákindé ló ń sọ fún wa pé pẹ̀lú ìṣọ̀kan wa oòrùn tó kù lókè yìí ó táṣọ ọgbẹ.
iléeṣẹ́ ètò ìròyìn àṣà ohun ìrìn àjò afẹ́ tìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ló ń kéde.
You're welcome back to Newspaper Review on Alore Radio, transmitting from GSM Studio at the Ministry of Information, Culture and Tourism, Secretariat Agodi, Ibadan. You can join us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/Alore Radio or on YouTube, Alore Radio, and our website is www.aloreradio.com. The first story I'm going to read is on page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune. It says, Justice Odili's house invasion. Malami kicks as suspect says he works for him. Police parade 14 suspects. Invaders not our staffers. As the police high command paraded 14 suspects over the invasion of Abuja residence of Justice Mary Odili, the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami, as they zoned the prime suspects Lawrence Ajodo, a fake chief superintendent of police who claimed he was working for the minister. The police, during the parade of the suspects at the Force Headquarters Annex in Abuja on Thursday, had described the suspects as imposters unknown to any of the nation's security forces. Force spokesman Frank Mba said the suspects and 7 others now at large conspired to raid the residence following information provided by a self-acclaimed whistleblower that the Supreme Court Justice was keeping a large sum of money in foreign currency at our residence. The prime suspect, Ajodo, during the parade, has said he was working for the Attorney General of the Federation, though he considered that he was not sent to forge the signatures and documents found on him. He said, and I quote, "I work for Malam Abubakar Malami as a consultant of recoveries. I was given 18 accounts to recover. Though Malami did not send me to this mission, I am a banking expert with specialty in finance and forensics." End of quote. Malami, however, distanced himself from CPS Ajodo, adding that his office could not have descended low to use his services given the vast resources at his disposal. He therefore challenged the suspects to produce the evidence of engagement by the AGF's office. Justice Odili's house invasion. Malami kicks as suspect says he works for him. Turn to page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune for the rest of the story. On page 6 of the Nigerian Tribune, I have, after huge investment, gas remains top priority of Nigeria. Buhari. President Muhammadu Buhari has assured investors that investment in gas remains a top priority for the country, considering the huge benefits in terms of returns and utility. He gave this assurance Thursday in Paris, France, while receiving the Chief Executive Officer of Total, Patrick Pouyanné, according to a statement issued by Femi Adesina, Special Advisor to the President, Media and Publicity. President Muhammadu Buhari noted that Nigeria has made huge investments in gas and would continue to create enabling opportunities for expansion while looking at improving alternative for renewable energy. He said Nigeria remains mindful of the target of zero emission by 2060 and had already started putting in place necessary natural structures that will ensure balance and safety for citizens and the global community. For the rest of that story, turn to page 6 of the Nigerian Tribune. After huge investments, gas remains top priority for Nigeria. Buhari. And still on page 6 of the Nigerian Tribune, I have this one that says Ibadan Inland Port will be delivered within 2 years. Executive Secretary and Chief Executive Officer, Nigerian Shippers Council (NSC), Honorable Emmanuel Jimmy, had expressed optimism that the Ibadan Inland Dry Port will be delivered within the next 2 years. This came to fore when Jim led top management officers of the NSC on a courtesy call on Governor Seyi Makinde at the Oyo State Governor's office on Thursday, detailing work plan for delivery of the project. Jimmy said 90% of the full business case (FBC) for the project has been resolved and will be submitted to the Federal Ministry of Transportation for onward forwarding to the Infrastructure Concessions Regulatory Commission (ICRC) next week. According to the work plan rolled out, the Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, is expected to take the FBC to the Federal Executive Council for approval on December 15th, 2021. For the rest of that story, turn to page 6 of the Nigerian Tribune. Ibadan Inland Dry Port will be delivered within 2 years, Shippers Council boss. And on page 8 of the Nigerian Tribune, I have the story that says Nigeria will be liberated from its challenges, Kolenda. The head of Christ for All Nations CFAN Ministry, Evangelist Daniel Kolenda, has said that Nigeria will soon be liberated from its myriad of challenges. Kolenda, the successor of the popular evangelist Rayard Bonke, who started a 3-day crusade in Ibadan on Thursday, disclosed that God directed him to the country because God has something special for Nigeria, he quotes, and Ibadan in particular. He addressed Nigerians not to lose hope in the nation, just as he charged the citizenry, including political leaders, to embrace honesty, saying righteousness exalts a nation. For the rest of that story, turn to page 8 of the Nigerian Tribune. Nigeria will be liberated from its challenges, Kolenda. And on page 10 of the Nigerian Tribune, I have this one that says, concerned APC stakeholders demand dissolution of Buni-led caretaker committee, says interim administration leading party to extinction. Certain members of the All Progressive Congress (APC), operating on the platform of the concerned APC stakeholders, have demanded the dissolution of the APC caretaker extraordinary convening planning committee under the leadership of the Yobe State Governor Malam Bumi. Addressing newsmen on Thursday, the leader of the group, Ayo Oyalowo, said the APC CECPC had not met the objectives that informed its formation by the party's leaders. Oyalowo said the emergency meeting of the National Executive Committee of the party held in June 2020, where the Adams Oshiomhole-led National Working Committee was dissolved, gave Buni's CECPC the clear mandate to reconcile aggrieved chieftains and conduct a national convention. Appraising its performance, Oyalowo claimed that the interim leadership has been creating more factions and tendencies within the party and the process worsening the crisis in the ruling party. He said, and I quote, the caretaker committee has conducted what is arguably the worst ward local governments and state congresses since the formation of the party in 2013. These congresses, rather than putting the party on strong footing, are creating further division and disenchantment among members. For the rest of that story, turn to page 10 of the Nigerian Tribune. Concerned APC stakeholders demand dissolution of Buni-led caretaker committee. And another story on that page 10 says, electoral bill, why I spearheaded campaign for the direct primaries by Gbajabiamila. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, on Thursday explained why he called for the adoption of direct primaries as the only method through which political parties should elect candidates for elections in the newly passed Electoral Bill 2021. Gbajabiamila said direct primaries would foster accountability and adequate representation, as political office holders will not be restricted to pleasing a group of few people selected as delegates, but would work for the interests of the generality of their party members and extension the electorate. He noted that he decided to campaign direct primaries because it would enable many Nigerians, especially the youths, to participate fully in the electoral process of those that would represent them. The speaker, while hosting a delegation of the Nigerian youths on a thank you visit for his role on his direct primaries, led by the Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Mr. Sunday Dare, said he preferred a situation where the political space is open for all, including the youths, to participate fully. The delegation thanked the Speaker for single-handedly moving for the amendments in the Electoral Act to have direct primaries as the only method of electing parties' candidates. For the rest of that story, turn to page 10 of the Nigerian Tribune. Why I spearheaded campaign for direct primaries by Gbajabiamila. And on page 27 of the Nigerian Tribune, I have the story that says military deploys troop helicopters to patrol Abuja-Kaduna Railway. The military high command has deployed troops and helicopters for a 24-hour surveillance of the Abuja-Kaduna Railway line following incessant attacks on trains on the road. The acting director of Defense Media Operations, Brigadier General Bernard Onyeko, disclosed this in Abuja while updating newsmen on the activities of the armed forces of Nigeria in the various theaters of operations across the 6 geopolitical zones. Onyeko said following the deployment, the Abuja-Kaduna road is now safe for train passengers, adding that normalcy has been restored with the Nigerian Air Force NAF helicopters constantly on patrol. He added that 97 kidnapped civilians were rescued by teams in the period under review, while 1,186 Boko Haram terrorists and their family members, comprising 226 adult males, 406 adult females, and 555 children, surrendered to the troops at different locations in Borno State. According to him, the total troop of the armed forces of Nigeria and other security agencies have continued to sustain the operation tempo in the land, maritime, and air operations across the various theaters of operation in the country. Military deploys troops, helicopters to patrol Abuja-Kaduna Rail line. That can be found on page 26 of the Nigerian Tribune. And another one says, police nab father who allegedly murdered his son for money rituals in Enugu. The police in Enugu State have arrested the father of a 7-year-old boy over his death. The police public relations officer, PPRO, in the state, ASP Daniel Ndukwe, in a statement said, following the receipt of credible information in an ongoing case of a missing child, police operatives attached to the Central Police Station of Enugu State Command on November 6 at about 7:10 p.m. arrested one Chidi, 36, for allegedly being responsible for the disappearance and murder for money ritual of his 7-year-old son, whom he had also reported to the police on October 22 as missing. For the rest of that story, turn to page 27 of the Nigerian Tribune. Police nab father who allegedly murdered his son for money ritual in Enugu. And on page 29 of the Nigerian Tribune, I have this story that says, Paris club consultants, they want to take advantage of Buhari's generosity to fleece Nigeria. Fayemi, chairman of the Nigerian Governors Forum, NGF, and Ekiti State Governor Dr. Kayode Fayemi, has alleged that efforts to deduct $419 million from state resources to pay Paris Club consultants is an attempt to take advantage of President Muhammadu Buhari's generosity of spirit to fleece Nigeria. Responding to the claims made by the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, who had insisted that the money must be paid by states, Fayemi said they had tried to draw the money from past administrations but failed. Speaking in an interview with a television station on Thursday, he expressed his disappointment with the attitude of the chief law officer of the country. He said, and I quote, "Frankly, I am a little reluctant to do this. It is not really in the character of the Governors Forum to discuss matters that are sub judice in the public arena. But the Attorney General has left us with very little option because this is a matter with him. This is a matter we have been discussing with him. But the President, with the Chief of Staff, with the Minister of Finance for the better part of the last 7-8 months. The Attorney General was my colleague in the cabinet of President Muhammadu Buhari, and I would like to think he's also somebody who occupies an office that I have tremendously respect for. It is the only ministerial office mentioned in the Nigerian Constitution, and he is the Attorney General of the Federation. This morning, he said on our program that the Attorney General of the Federation that is afraid that the Attorney General of the Federation and he will be defending parties, federal states as well as local government, but rather than defending consultants. For the rest of that story, turn to page 29 of the Nigerian Tribune. Paris Club consultants, they want to take advantage of Buhari's generosity to fleece Nigeria, Fayemi. And still on page 29 of the Nigerian Tribune, NUC approves 5 new courses for Precious University. And another one is from page 28. It says 2023, Dr. C. others take Atiku's presidential ambition to Ladoja. Mimiko, ex-Oyo governor meets behind closed doors. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar appears to have revived up his 2023 presidential aspiration, inspiring his foot soldiers across the country to renew political ties with old allies. It was gathered that the emissaries of the Waziri of Adamawa Emirates have been moving around the country to woo eminent political icons and enlist their support for the project. Led by the chairman of DA Communication PLC, Chief Raymond Dokwesi, one of the groups was in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, on Tuesday to hold a closed-door meeting with the former governor of the state, Senator Rashidi Ladoja. Ladoja is an old ally of Atiku, and their closeness dated back to the aborted Third Republic in the defunct Social Democratic Party SDP, from which platform Ladoja was elected a senator in 1992 and Atiku a presidential aspirant. Other members of the Atiku group in the meeting was Ladoja, a former chairman of the Federal Road Maintenance Agency, FAMA, and chieftain of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) in Osun State, Mr. Jide Adeniji, and 5 others. For the rest of that story, turn to page 28 of the Nigerian Tribune. 2023, Dokwesi others take Atiku's presidential ambition to Ladoja. And I have another one on the same page. Anambra 2021 APC candidate rejects election outcome. The candidate of the All Progressive Congress APC in the Anambra governorship elections, Senator Andy Uba, has rejected the outcome of the electoral process. The candidate of the All Progressive Grand Alliance, ABGA, Professor Charles Soludo, was declared winner by the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) and is expected to receive his certificate of return from the Electoral Empire today in Akwa, the state capital. Spokesperson Senator Andy Uba Campaign Organization, Ambassador Jerry Ugbokwe, in a statement on Thursday alleged that the election was marred with irregularities. He specifically cited the malfunctioning of the biometric voters accreditation system, which he noted cast a slur on the election. He alleged that the polling units where the biometric units voters accuracy system malfunctioned. INEC went ahead to conduct the elections manually. There were numerous cases where votes announced by INEC exceeded the number of accredited voters in polling units. The APC candidate in the statement further dropped a hint that he might approach the Election Petitions Tribunal to retrieve his stolen electoral mandate. For the rest of that story, turn to page 28 of the Nigerian Tribune. Anambra 2021, APC candidate rejects election outcome. And with this story, we have come to the end of today's newspaper review. Join us tomorrow for more details of the news stories. But you can join us on Facebook at www.alore radio or on YouTube, Alore Radio. Our website is www.aloreradio.com and mobile apps available on Play Store. Thanks for listening and have a good day. My name remains Olukemi Omotosho.
Gbẹ̀gìrì, ewédú, àmàlà, ó ń gbóná fẹ́lifẹ́li in Ìbàdàn. The anchorage of Alore Radio.
ọgbà tí àṣejìná lóde ìrànjẹ làwọn aláṣejòkó tí wọ́n fẹ́ máa jẹ ọba ni wọ́n ṣe gàyà díẹ̀ ná ìlú ló láṣẹ ẹjẹ́ ìlú ó jẹun náà ìdí nìyí tó fi jẹ́ pé ẹ̀tọ́ ìlú là ń fowó ìlú ṣe nípìnlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ẹ̀rí bí ní ètò ẹ̀kọ́ wa ṣe ń jògeere LAUTECH ti di tìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ilé ìwòsàn alábọ́dé bíi 40 ló ti wẹ̀wọ̀ ọ̀tún pẹ̀lú àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ tòun àti irinṣẹ́ tó kójú owó iṣẹ́ sì ti fẹ́ẹ̀ parí pẹ̀lú lórí 100 míì ìdákẹ́jádò ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ààbò tó dájú ohun amáyédẹrùn ní ìṣokùnfà ìdásílẹ̀ iléeṣẹ́ ńláńlá láwùjọ òun náà nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ fi wà nípò kẹta nínú àwọn ìpínlẹ̀ tí ń pawó wọlé jùlọ lábẹ́lé nílẹ̀ wa ọ̀pọ̀ ọ̀dọ́ ló ti láǹfààní ẹ̀kọ́ṣẹ́ iṣẹ́ àgbẹ̀ lọ́nà ti gbàlódé táṣeyọrí yóò sì jẹ́ kó ń jẹ́ sùn wá bọ̀ láìpẹ́ nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ àtòṣìṣẹ́ fẹ̀yìntì ń gbowó wọn lásìkò pápá àṣírí Adámàsìngbà àtàwọn inú ojú pópó tí ń sòrú dọ̀sán kọ́ àwọn ìlú ti sọ pásì ìwádùn níṣèjọba yìí fi ń mọ rírì gbogbo àwọn aláṣẹ gómìnà Ṣèyí Mákindé ló ń sọ fún wa pé pẹ̀lú ìṣọ̀kan wa oòrùn tó kù lókè yìí ó táṣọ ọgbẹ.
iléeṣẹ́ ètò ìròyìn àṣà ohun ìrìn àjò